Hello and welcome to This Old Prompt, the channel where we're going to talk about all things AI, especially trending AI things like model context protocol, agent to agent protocol, and vibe coding. That's kind of what I'm into right now, and we're going to go and play with all of the new tools as they come out, as they get announced. We're going to figure out how to use them, what they're good at, what they're bad at, hopefully, and hopefully help you figure out which tools you want to use in your journey. So without further ado, we're going to start with today's episode, which is Docker's MCP catalog and toolkit. This was widely hyped earlier this week, and as you can see on their website, this is May 5th of 2025. So lots of posts, lots of hype on all the socials, and talking about this new set of tools. Really, it's actually two things if you look at what they've announced here. The first is their MCP catalog. So this is a catalog of MCP servers that have been Dockerized, verified by Docker. So companies like Stripe and Pulumi and Heroku and Kong and New Relic, like all of these tools that you're going to want to use in your projects are all here. So they're there. They're going to be, as you can see, very easy to install. And I think it's going to help streamline this idea of USB-C for Docker for AI, as I've heard it referred to a few times. USB-C just plugs in, right? I think in the early days we had some weird like, oh, this is the wrong cable. It's not USB-C. So this may be like us throwing away all those old USB-C cables that we had in the past. So if you look, this is all just running in Docker Hub. If you've used Docker before, you've used Docker Hub almost certainly. It's a registry of Docker containers. In this case, you see MCP is in the namespace of all of these containers. So that's really where the difference lies from what I can tell. It's a repository of MCP servers that are all Dockerized containers. So that's actually powerful in and of itself because these are verified, likely more secure in some ways, way, shape, or form, though I don't know that Docker has announced that they're scanning these with any tools or anything like that. So that may be a future release on this, hopefully, so that we get, even more sense of security from this tool. So I think this would be powerful in and of itself. I can do a Docker pull and a Docker run, and then modify my MCP files, no problem. But Docker's gone a step further, and they've given us a toolkit to work with. So we're going to spend more time with the toolkit, but I want to give you a second here to pause the video if you want. Go to the description of the video and find the link to install Docker on your machine. If you haven't done that yet, if you don't have Docker or you have an older version of Docker, you might want to get it upgraded. It has to be at least 4.10 for the toolkit to work. So go ahead and do that, or come back here later and go ahead and install it. Only takes a few minutes. They walk you through creating an account, all of that. And then once you're done, we can actually jump in and start working with the toolkit. Before we do anything with the toolkit, though, I want to show you a couple things. First of all, we're going to cover a few things. I'm already talking to you about what's in the MCP catalog, why you should care. I think those things are important. We're going to look at the catalog. We kind of did that already, and we're going to install the toolkit, and we're going to install the actual official GitHub MCP server, and we're going to have some fun with that. So first things first, you've got Docker installed. We need to install this tool in the Docker desktop. So let's look at the Docker desktop first. And I want to show you that this is a clean install for me. I have no images, I have no containers, and I have no extensions installed. So again, this is in the description of the video, the link to the Docker MCP toolkit. You can simply open the Docker desktop from here. Prompt you for that on a Mac. And we click install. I mean, this is just like any other app store where we're going to install an app into, in this case, our Docker desktop. You see a few things are happening at the bottom where the toolkit itself is being installed, and now it's done. We're going to open that up, and you'll see all of these MCP servers. These are the same ones that we saw in the web store or the web registry, just showing up in our local machine. So we can pick and choose which ones we want to allow our tools to use. In my case, we're going to actually configure cursor. Actually shows connected. I'm disconnecting it. And so we can go look at cursor right now, and you'll see cursor, and we'll go look at our settings, and we'll look at cursor settings and MCP. So you'll see I have no MCP servers, and I have nothing in my MCP servers JSON file. So if I go back over here to our Docker desktop and I connect cursor, presumably this will work the same for Claude. Gordon is the built-in agent that's in the Docker desktop. Continue.dev, and then we can manually configure some of these other tools like Klein. I'll probably do another video on how to install this in Klein. It's that simple. I click connect on cursor, and we go back over to my cursor window. You'll see now I'm going to actually use this beautify my mcp.json file. So we're going to use cursor to do cursor things right now. In this case, I want him to make this file look pretty so that we can actually look at it. And we're going to go ahead and accept that. So I only did this so that we could actually look at what gets configured by Docker. Literally, it's the command that we saw over on the other screen. Docker run mcp client equals cursor, which is just, a string it's passing in. And then this is the container, and this is the actual TCP host it's going to connect to. It is that simple. And when we go to cursor settings, you'll see I have this MCP Docker running. This is actually, if all we use is the MCP Docker tool, this will be the only MCP server we see running inside of cursor or whatever tool it is. So as you can tell, right now, there are no tools available. If I go back to my desktop and I go to MCP servers, I can go ahead and install the GitHub. We'll install the GitHub official server, and in order for this to work, you're going to need a personal access token from GitHub. That's fairly easy to configure if you need one. I can include a link to the description, or a link to the directions on how to do that in the description. But simply paste your personal access token in, and that's all the configurations that the GitHub official needs. And now if we go back to there we go. Sorry, now it's officially enabled. And if we go to configuration, it should still be there. We can reconfigure it if we want to. And that's it. So let's look at cursor, see what's here now. We're going to have to restart this, obviously, because the tool's not there. I'm actually going to start a new chat so that it has the tools. I'm going to, what tools do you have? So we're just going to ask cursor what tools it has. And when it gets done, I think I saw it flash by. Yeah, GitHub API, extensive GitHub operations. So has lots of tools available to it. All right. So now that we have the tools listed, I know the tools are there. I'm going to ask it to do some work for me. And I'm going to have it create a repo over here in my GitHub account, which has no repos in it now. Can you create a new repo named to match the working directory and push my readme.md file to the repo. And let's see what happens. So it wants to run a command to figure out where it's at, which it did. Now it's calling this MCP tool, and you'll see it's calling it with the name, which is my working directory, a description, and a private false because I didn't tell it to make it a private repo. You see that it completed that. Now it's going to go ahead and push my README file. So let's see what happens there. I haven't used this tool before, so. And it is going to see create or update file. See what it did. And it says it's done. So let's look and see if it's done. It is done, and it does have my README file here. I'll have to update this later when I'm done filming the video so that it has all the right links. But it apparently did everything that it said it was going to do, and it was that easy. So with that, we're going to wrap this video up, and thank you for watching the very, very first video in this old prompt. If you like the video, share, follow us. I'm super excited to go on this journey. I'm really, really digging what's happened with Model Context Protocol. I think this is sort of the gateway to turn AI, from a fun thing that we posted prompts about, maybe had to cut and paste into something that we can really, really all benefit from. So if you're as excited as I am, again, follow us. Subscribe to the channel. Let's go through this journey together. And thanks for watching.